First, Zaqy Mohamad.
Mr. Chair, at the appropriate juncture, may I show some slides? Mr. Alexiam asked about our plans to create a future-ready built environment that supports the nation's changing needs. In October 2017 and February 2018, we launched the Construction ITM and Real Estate ITM, which target to fundamentally change the way we design, build, maintain, and rejuvenate our city while creating good jobs for Singaporeans. Since then, we have been partnering the industry, the unions, the Institutes of Higher Learning, or IHLs, to implement the ITMs. Let me elaborate on our progress and upcoming plans. First, on the Construction ITM, to drive change at the workforce, firm, and ecosystem level, BCA set up the Build SG Transformation Office last year to partner the industry in growing progressive firms and preparing the workforce for the future. Build SG has been working with the trade associations and chambers to help them build expertise in 3 transformation areas, namely Design for Manufacturing and Assembly, DFMA, Integrated Digital Delivery, IDD, and Green Buildings. 6 TACs have developed their own action plans to support the Construction ITM, and 3 more are due to complete theirs by the end of the month. These plans underline the TAC's commitment to guide firms and individuals through the transformation journey. BCA is also partnering industry stakeholders through the IDD Steering Committee to guide the development of IDD and encourage greater integration across the construction value chain. As Engineer Lee Biwa and Dr. Teo Ho Pin noted, the Building Information Modeling, or BIM, is not yet seamlessly adopted across different project parties. It's still in infancy stage. But to address this, BCA and IMDA have launched a $4 million joint call to support construction and technology firms in developing digital platforms for the built environment sector, as part of the IDD implementation plan launched in November last year. The intent is to facilitate the use of a single BIM model across the construction value chain, from design to construction and to operations and to maintenance. We have also undertaken various initiatives to upgrade and augment the built environment workforce who are key to industry transformation. So beyond just the infrastructure, manpower capability is also something that we need to build. So last month, BCA set up the iBuild SG Tripartite Committee to oversee the implementation of leadership and talent development strategies. Let me share 3 key updates. First, IHLs will be updating their curricula to better equip undergraduates with skills and competencies to support transformation. As a start, NUS will pilot an interdisciplinary module on prefabricated, pre-finished volumetric construction, or PPVC, later this year. Sounds a handful, right? But with PPVC, components are prefabricated under controlled factory conditions and assembled like Lego blocks, as you see on the screen there. This can significantly speed up on-site construction and save up to 40% manpower. The pilot module will not only familiarize students with this technology, but also expose them to real work conditions where different stakeholders work together to deliver a project. Second, the committee has also developed internship guidelines to help companies structure more effective internships. Good internships offer students a valuable opportunity to get a taste of work in the built environment sector. The hands-on experience will also prepare students to joining the workforce. So for example, Ms. Tan Suri went on a year-long internship with Oricon while studying at the Singapore Institute of Technology. She helped to retrofit buildings with energy-efficient cooling systems and gained engineering experience. Oricon was also able to assess Suri's technical and behavioral competencies and offered her the iBuild SG undergraduate scholarship, and they subsequently offered her a full-time position. So it's wonderful that you see young women joining the built environment sector, and in this case, construction as well. The committee's guidelines aim to help more firms and students benefit from such positive internship experiences. So I encourage firms to refer them to BCA's Building Careers portal when planning your internship programs. Third, the committee will upgrade and augment the industry's competencies through enhancing continuing education and training. So the committee is developing a skills framework to identify skills and competencies of the future and guide training programs to help PMETs remain relevant. And 2, as well as a leadership framework as well, to groom a core group of industry leaders. We will also continue to support firms in training and bringing in mid-career professionals through our PCPs. Last year, we introduced the PCP for Building Information Modeling or BIM professionals. So in fact, next slide. After learning about promising career prospects of a BIM modeler, Mr. Muhammad Saifulizan bin Abdul Rahman took up the PCP. He has been receiving structured training in essential BIM skills, as well as on-the-job training with his industry sponsor, Lam Chang Building Contractors. To help more people like Saiful enter the built environment sector, BCA is now working with Workforce Singapore to expand the PCP offerings to other BE transformation areas, such as professionals supporting the DFME projects and offsite facilities. We will also do more to improve the attractiveness of construction industry jobs. The use of productive technologies already improve the working conditions and can create attractive new jobs such as prefabrication supervisors. As Mr. Zana Safari pointed out, it is also important to provide rest areas for workers. I announced at MOM's COS session yesterday that we will be looking into companies' practices in this regard. From MND's perspective, we will also look at how best to ensure adequate provision of rest areas from a planning perspective. Another important aspect of good jobs is remuneration, and with the move towards higher skilled jobs, wages should also keep up. So I urge industry leaders to continue efforts in enhancing pay and career prospects for employees so as to build up a strong local core of PMETs to support a sustainable industry transformation. The government will also do our part to ensure that wages remain competitive. So last year, we announced a progressive wage model of PWM for the lift industry, and BCA is working with the industry to phase in implementation while ensuring sufficient lead time for buyers and firms to adjust. In the meantime, the government will take lead to drive early PWM adoption by procuring only from firms that have registered their PWM status starting this May. So far, 21 lift companies have pledged their commitment towards the PWM, and I hope that more will join. I'm heartened to see progressive firms adopt productive construction technologies like DFME. So take, for instance, Instead Prefabrication Private Limited, which set up a facility for prefabricated mechanical, electrical, and plumbing or MEP systems in 2017. Through automation, the firm has achieved higher construction quality with up to 40% time savings and 60% productivity improvement. Workers in the MEP factory also enjoy improved working conditions similar to the manufacturing sector compared to the traditional construction sites. We want to support more firms in the transformation journey and shift the industry towards adopting productive technologies like DFME. To do this, we will need to complement existing funding schemes and manpower development initiatives with changes to our foreign manpower policies. Currently, construction projects are subject to the Man-Year Entitlement Framework or MYE framework, which manages foreign workers projects at a project level. MYE quotas are allocated to main contractors based on project type and value, and main contractors then decide how to allocate these quotas to the subcontractors. So we have received feedback from the industry that such an arrangement is not optimal, as Engineer Lee Bio had also feedback in her speech. For example, a main contractor may only pass a small proportion of the allocated MYE to subcontractors. DFME facilities today are also not allocated MYE quotas directly, as they are not project-based. So most workers in DFME facilities are employed on the higher MYE waiver levy rates. And this means that the manpower cost for the off-site DFME is typically higher than that compared to on-site works at construction sites. While we have received industry feedback, as Engineer Lee said, about the allocation of MYE quotas, increasing our reliance on foreign workers cannot be the way forward. Instead, to better align our manpower policies with our transformational outcomes, we will have to review the existing MYE framework for the construction sector. Our intent is to progressively reduce the MYE quota for on-site works and eventually remove the MYE framework altogether. We want to replace the MYE with a system that better enables the industry to optimize their foreign workforce, be it on-site or at DFME facilities. But this will take time, and BCA will consult the industry in working out these changes on the MYE framework. Meanwhile, to encourage more off-site works in the interim, we will introduce a new voluntary off-site construction special scheme, or OCSS, for DFMA facilities. Firms on the OCSS will be able to hire an allocated number of workers at MYE levy rates. This will lower the cost premium for DFMA and hopefully encourage more firms to shift towards off-site work. BCA will be engaging eligible companies to explain the details of the scheme, which will be implemented later this year. Engineer Lee and Ms. Ang Wei Neng underscored the importance of efficient and streamlined regulations and processes for the construction sector, and we agree. The Interagency Coordinating Committee, or IACC, was established by the BCA in 2011 to resolve cross-agency regulatory issues. Instead of meeting only when issues are surfaced, the IACC has started to hold monthly meetings this year to proactively engage the industry. Where there are changes to regulations, we will do what we can to help firms transition. Specific to Engineer Lee's specific feedback on the service diversion and others, I think we'll take those on board, and I will have a word with BCA to see how best we can help you. Engineer Lee asked about rebates to absorb the diesel duty increase. As announced by the Finance Minister, 3 years of road tax rebates will be provided for commercial diesel vehicles. The rebates will also apply to commercial vehicles used in the construction industry. Engineer Lee also provided specific feedback on services diversion works earlier on and workplace safety and health regulations. As many of our projects are on brownfield sites, prep work such as services diversion may be required prior to development works. It is inefficient for government to undertake all such land preparations before tendering out sites for sale. Instead, our approach is to make known in the tenant documents any encumbrances on site so that interested bidders can factor these accordingly into their timelines and tender price. As for workplace safety, our workplace safety and health regulations adopt a risk-based approach for the supervision of high-risk construction works. Supervisors need not be present at all times if the risks are sufficiently addressed, for example, by adequately briefing workers on the potential risk and the proper use of tools and safety equipment. The WISH regulations have contributed to reducing construction workplace fatality rates from 8.1 per 100,000 workers in 2007 to 3.1 per 100,000 workers in 2018. So as I elaborated in my MOM speech yesterday, that really one of the strongest links to many of these fatalities is inexperienced workers. So Engineer Lee also asked about our efforts to support local contractors. We know the industry has been experiencing a slowdown in recent years, and we have introduced a number of measures to help. In 2017, we announced that we would bring forward $1.4 billion worth of public sector projects to boost construction demand over the next few years. To help local companies build up a track record, we have parceled out large infrastructure projects into smaller contracts that SMEs can take on and allowed smaller consultancy firms to band together to bid for higher value projects. So just for Engineer Lee, just rest assured, that we want to provide as much support as we can for our local firms, and certainly within our procurement guidelines. And that is why also we have to continue to review our processes, our policies, and how we work with interagency regulations, as well as one of the reasons why we're looking at MYE framework as well. But our longer-term focus remains on helping firms build capabilities and strengthen their competitiveness. We currently provide funding support to firms in various areas, including construction productivity, manpower development, and research and innovation. To help firms navigate these schemes more easily, we will consolidate our existing schemes under an umbrella Build SG Transformation Fund, or BTF, amounting to about $770 million. This includes top-ups to 2 existing schemes, namely the Productivity Innovation Project, or PIP, and the Public Sector Construction Productivity Fund, or PSCPF. More than 300 firms have benefited from the PIP, which co-funds capability development initiatives that improve site productivity. Well, the good news is that we will add about $200 million to the PIP to support more firms in adopting productive technologies. The PSCPF supports government agencies in procuring innovative and productive solutions for the public sector. Since its launch in 2017, most of the $154 million fund has been committed, and we will add another $95 million to the fund to sustain the effort. Next, let me provide an update on the progress of the transformation efforts in the real estate industry. In April last year, BCA formed the Tripartite Facilities Management Implementation Committee, or FMIC, to transform the FM industry into one that is more productive and that leverages on data analytics, predictive maintenance, and smart solutions. To this end, the FMIC, which comprises representatives from both government and the industry, has proposed recommendations in 4 areas, namely designing for maintainability, enhancing maintenance productivity and quality through Smart FM, enhancing guidelines for FM procurement, ensuring adequate training for the development of the FM workforce. While implementation details are being worked out, the public sector will take the lead to uplift the FM industry through various initiatives, such as by adopting outcome-based procurement guidelines. This provides flexibility for FM service providers to focus on improving outcomes instead of meeting headcount requirements. On the property transaction front, we will continue to enhance and streamline the transaction processes for users through automation and digitalization. A key thrust is to make it easier for industry players to access property-related government data, thereby enabling the automation of time-consuming administrative processes. We have done this for data related to rental transactions since February. This means that checks like whether a seller is the legal owner of the property and whether a landlord is eligible to lease out a HDB unit can now be done with a click of a button. I believe this will benefit many, as rental transactions account for about 60% of all residential property transactions. And I'm happy to share that we will be doing likewise for data related to sales and purchase of residential properties from the end of the year. We encourage the industry to take advantage of this to streamline processes and better serve your customers. But we are not stopping here. Our long-term goal is to facilitate seamless and digitalized property transactions from start to finish. To chart the way, CEA is chairing a digitalization work group with representatives from both government and industry. And by reducing the hard copy documents and physical payments, consumers can spend less time on paperwork and queuing at the banks, and property agents, bankers, and lawyers can focus on higher value-added services to customers. As Mr. Chong Ki-Hiong noted in his speech, good infrastructure is essential in supporting our future economy. We have a rigorous framework to ensure that our buildings are safe. Developments involving structural works undergo checks to ensure that they have been designed and built according to the approved plans and building regulations. Developers are required to engage trained professionals known as qualified persons and accredited checkers at various stages of the project, from the building design phase to supervising the construction works on site to certifying the works upon project completion. BCA also conducts sampling checks on building plans and targeted inspections on structural works, and will take enforcement action against any party that contravenes the regulations. Going forward, the various ITMs under the built environment sector will strengthen the industry capabilities in continuing to build and maintain a quality infrastructure. MND will continue to partner our stakeholders as we ride the waves of transformation to a high-tech and a more productive built environment sector. Thank you.
Leader of the House.
Chairman, may I seek your consent to move that progress be reported now and leave be asked to sit again tomorrow?
I give my consent.
Chairman, I beg to move that progress be reported now and leave be asked to sit again tomorrow.
The question is that progress be reported now and leave be asked to sit again tomorrow. As many as are of that opinion, say aye. To the contrary, say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Leader.
Mr. Deputy Speaker, I beg to report that the Committee of Supply has made progress on estimates of expenditure for the financial year 2019-2020 and asks leave to sit again tomorrow.
So be it. Would you like to adjourn?
Mr. Speaker, I beg to move that Parliament do now adjourn.
The question is that Parliament do now adjourn. As many as are of that opinion, say aye. Aye. To the contrary, say no. I think the ayes have it. The ayes have it. Order. Order. Order and
There you go.